Episode 34 of The View from the Ninian this season, and relegation has finally been confirmed. The boys have been put out of their misery, sent out to pasture, and we're looking at League One next year, or as the club have put it, we'll be competing in League One next year. Can't even say the word relegation because they're a bunch of fucking cowards. Joining me, as always, Ben Price and Tom Phillips. Ben Price, you had a bit of an identity crisis this week, I hear.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm me or you these days.
Nor am I, to be honest.
Cheers to BBC Radio Wales for that one.
Yeah.
And it's too awkward to correct him on here as well. You can't really correct him when you're introduced as Ben James from View from the Ninian.
No, and I don't suppose they can't see your face either, can they? At that point,
no,
so
it was all on FaceTime, so yeah. it was just a weird one. But yeah, it's better than when TalkSport introduced me as Brian Prince. So
rest easy, sweet Brian Prince. And talking of identity crisis, Tom Phillips, no hat and a mustache again. Are you trying to be me?
Well, yeah, I feel left out. If you're both being you, then I want to be involved. So it's only fair, really. It's bold from the club to say we'll compete next year.
Yeah, we absolutely won't.
Good point. Yeah,
we'll be there. Yeah. I like it. Ambition.
I had a little... Go on, Ben.
Cardiff City turning up. Cardiff City will turn up in League One. Isn't exactly like the most inspiring tweets, is it?
Cardiff City have been placed in League One for next year. I did have a look around because I was like, maybe it's the new thing that clubs aren't saying that they've been relegated, but no other clubs say they've been relegated. I think Carlisle actually did 5 tweets yesterday about their relegation. Each one of them said, Mark Hughes discusses our relegation. Our fans look ahead to our relegation in League One. Cardiff City can't even say it in the tweet, confirming our relegation. But that's by the by. Yesterday, it was Saturday. A football match happened. We drew 0-0 with West Brom. Other results confirmed that put us down, and it puts us bottom of the table at the moment. Ben, it's been a long time coming, probably 4 seasons too late. Last season now feels like the halcyon days of finishing 12th. How are you feeling now that relegation has been confirmed?
I was very, very quiet in the house yesterday. Once full-time hit, it was a very somber mood. A fair play to my wife. She's got a heart of gold. Like, she was trying to cheer me up. She was being all lovely as she normally is. But I was having a bit of a sulk. I'm not going to lie. It was a bit depressing. So she pissed off upstairs and watched Grey's Anatomy on her iPad. Fair play to her. It was just, yeah. You know it's coming. It was worse. But it did hurt when that full-time whistle went and it was confirmed that we were down. It did sting. And then you sort of see the pictures coming out of like everything with it. We'll go on to all the ranty stuff in a bit that everyone's sort of expecting, but it really hurt yesterday. When it finally set in, it was done. I think that was a big thing for me. It was just sad to see what we've become.
Yeah. Tom, what does it feel like from the other side of the world?
Tell you what's bleak is staying up till 2 a.m. to watch it. And then just turning the TV off on the light in the basement. I'm kind of walking back up to bed.
Wiping away one single tear. Oh.
Yeah. And then just kind of not being able to sleep because your mind is whirring, just staring at the ceiling, going, so there we are then, that's that. And then trying to put my phone away so to get some sleep, but knowing like the Wrexham game hadn't kicked off yet. And just wanting to stare at it, just to be even more miserable about the whole situation, to watch them enjoying themselves. But no, it's. I think this morning, for me, it changed a little bit, almost like we've been put out of our misery a little bit. Like this has been hanging over us for so long. Like I'm not happy about it, far from it, don't get me wrong, but I think it'd be worse if we found out next week we got relegated in some way.
Oh, 100%. If we had any hope going into the last day and we somehow won that game but still got relegated, I don't even know if that would have been possible. Probably no in our club. I would have been very sad.
Yeah, and I think like it's this one's felt so inevitable just because every other team seems to have turned it on a little bit in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Like as soon as Luton got a result in that game before our one, like I watched every kick of the ball in that one. And I was like, I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. But like it's just like you knew going into it that we were kind of done for no matter what happened in our game. And, you know, we'll go on to, we played all right in parts, but we've played all right in parts through so much of this season. And it's just not been enough. We deservedly, I think that's what made it a bit easier as well. We've deserved to go down. So there's no real complaints from any of our fans.
I opened the table just to have a look. A little bit of a quiz question. We've lost 19 games this season, which is less than several clubs. What is the highest placed club who have lost more games than us this season? You don't have to name the name, but name the position.
Isn't anyone like 8th?
8th is Blackburn. They've lost one less game than us. I don't know how Blackburn is still 8th, by the way. Mental. Tom, any guesses?
I'll go 9th then.
Watford in 13th have lost 21 games this season, but they've won 7 games more than us and drawn 9 games less than us.
I was saying, my mate, we were in like a chat last night and looking at it. My mate's a Swansea fan, and we've lost the same amount of games as them this season.
Yeah.
But they've won the same amount of games as we've drawn, and that is the big issue, isn't it? We've spoke so much about dropping points from winning positions, and that just lays it bare that we just weren't good enough to win games. And if you aren't winning, as dull as it sounds, you can pick up as many draws as you want. You go down. It's ridiculous just how much we've shot ourselves in the foot this season. Every aspect of the club's done it as well. On the pitch, off the pitch, it is just one big self-inflicted gunshot wound.
We've drawn the second most games in the division. Preston in 20th have drawn 19, and there's another team, West Brom, in 10th have drawn 19. We've drawn 17 games this season. Which just goes to sum it up, really, doesn't it? Like, even the last run of games, it's been like, we've had a little hope. We've kind of got unbeaten in 3, but they've all been draws. We've kind of drew Preston away when we should have beaten them, or we should have even tried to beat them. It's just ridiculous, really. Ben, obviously, dust is settled. When you look back at this season, we can talk about blame. I think there's a hierarchy of blame. Everyone's to blame at some point in this football club, but there's more people to blame than the other, namely Vincent Tan, which we'll get to. Ben, who are you putting the blame on? Is it Omariza? Is he fucking useless, or is it someone else?
He is, but he shouldn't have been in the position. It lies with those at the top. Everything about this lies because it's not a one-season thing. This isn't a blip of a season.
This is 3 and 4.
Yeah, the weird thing is the blip of the season's this blip when we finished 12th somehow. It's all on them. Like this has been coming for a while. You can't. I've said it everywhere. You can't run a club like this and expect success. There's no plan. I saw the thing with Vincent Tan giving an interview a few years ago. Says, "Do you think I'm stupid enough not to have a plan?" Yeah, I do, because evidently.
I'll read you the exact quote. I hear talk that we have no plan. Do you honestly think I would put in so much money if I had no plan? Do you think we are idiots? Yes. Ben, do you think they're idiots?
I think they're massive fucking idiots. I think they're cowards. I think they're idiots. And I think they're spineless creatures that need to get out. The fact that none of them were at the stadium yesterday, just summed it up. But the director's box empty for the game. Like, you're not fronting up your mistakes. Like, Tan was on people's shoulders. Tan got people to carry him on their shoulders when he was promoted twice, carried out for that. Took all the adulation there. Since then, he's been to the stadium, twice in 5 years? Yeah. It's just gutless from him. It's embarrassing from him. Like, it's just rotten to the core there. We know they're not going to go, but they've got to change now. This is all on them. If they want this club to succeed, and if they don't want us to plummet even further, then they've got to change. It's all on them, not on us for this.
Let's talk about Ken Chu, Tom, because I hate him. What car do you think he drives when he commutes to the Cardiff City Stadium?
What car?
Wait, do you know?
It's a Mercedes S-Class. He gave an interview to Motor Trader magazine in February. He also said that in the year last year, their pre-tax profits fell at the car company business by around £5 million. Is he just a fucking useless businessman as well as a coward?
It seems it, doesn't it? I'm sure they're decent businessmen, right? But they're just not football.
Are they, though?
I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest with you. One bit I do care about is the club. And they're not good at that aspect of it. So they can do what they want in their other business as long as they invest a bit of time in the one that matters to us, and that's Cardiff City. And they don't. Like you said, they're not there at games. They clearly don't have any football acumen, and that is the issue. I don't think anyone's really questioning the money that's been put in. And, it's like, oh, do you think we don't have a plan if I'm putting this much money in? Yeah, I don't think you do have a plan. I think the plan was to put money in and success would just automatically come, and that's not how it works. And I think, over the this weekend, kind of looking at the Premier League table, looking at the Championship table, the League One table, and you're looking at like the FA Cup. You're seeing Palace get to the final now. They're a team we were playing on a regular basis. We were the same standard as them. We've seen the likes of Leicester kick on and win the Premier League. You've seen
Brighton.
like teams. Yeah, we've seen teams that we were playing for like decades on a regular basis invest similar amounts of money, sometimes less. You look at Brentford, you look at Bournemouth. Brentford and Bournemouth, for example, they are teams that had very, very clear plans that they made clear to everyone. They know what they're doing and people still can't compete with it because their plan works. Same with Brighton. We don't have a plan. And it's just, that's the problem. It's like, I don't care what car he drives. I don't care what he does outside the club. It's just, there's clearly not a plan for our football club. And that is the problem.
Then ideally, you know, Daffy Pritchard posted a piece on BBC Sport Wales about the changes that needs to happen in the club, all that kind of stuff. Ideally, what happens with the hierarchy at the club at the moment? Obviously, we've talked Vincent Tan probably isn't going anywhere, is he? He's in too deep. Until we get money from somewhere to buy him out, he's not going anywhere. What do you want to see happen? Is it Ken Choo and Dalman changed? Is there more fundamental change that needs to happen at the football club?
I think
what do you want to see?
A proper football structure in place. I don't doubt, like, you look at the way the accounts are going and stuff, like the debts are rising, but compared to other clubs, financially, we probably are more secure and they're doing an all right job of that. It's not brilliant by any stretch. You look at
but the money's owed to one person, isn't it? So it's not an unsecured debt that's going to be called in by the bank at any time. It's mainly owned to Tan and it's mainly owned to Dalman.
Yeah, so that's fine. Secure all that. That's good. But on the pitch, where the club will make the most money is what needs to be addressed. They want money back from their investments. They can't. It's not just going to be the Salah thing because that's going to pile on for years. Even if the verdict comes out this time next year, there's going to be an appeal. It's going to drag on for another 2-3 years at least. The club really needs to put a football structure in place. They're seemingly doing an all right job with the academy. There seems to be a bit of structure and sort of thought gone into that. But I think a lot of that's led by other people. They're sort of just putting the money into it. They need to allow that to happen with the first team. Vincent Tan can't keep interfering with first team matters. You can't keep bringing them out and just giving them suggestions about what to do. It needs to be a proper football man. Like, you look at Wrexham, the way they've done it. Their owners came in and went, right, we don't know a lot about football here. We've just got money. So they went in and got that bloke, I can't remember his name now, the bald guy.
Sean Harvey.
Exactly. And got him involved.
Sean
and he's been everything to their like football side of things. He was like the bloke who went out and got Phil Parkinson. He's the one that sort of direct, like, along with another team, sort of put the football structure in place. And they've done 3 back-to-back promotions purely because they've got someone there that knows what they're on about. It's not that I'm not saying Wrexham's perfect and we're never going to do what they do, but there needs to be a proper structure in place for football people because Ramsey's comments said everything at full time. There is no footballing structure at this club. It is go to the first team and then we'll see what happens. It's such a hodgepodge of a squad again. You look at everything that goes there and everything with it. None of it makes sense. The reason man just can't pick the perfect 11 is because it's not been built with the proper 11 in mind. It's just, that player looks decent, we'll take him. And it's just wrong. I think the footballing setup, and we've said it for years, needs a deep, deep assessment now. And now is the time to do it because otherwise, if we don't do it, we're going to do a Wigan. We're going to end up playing in League Two before we play the Championship again.
Oh, League Two could be fun. Tom, Stephen McPhail was at the game yesterday. Obviously, he's had good success in Ireland as a director of football. Would you like to see him come in? Would you like to see anyone come in? I don't really know what the club are going to do, but the fact that McPhail was there yesterday feels encouraging.
Possibly. He might just been there because he's an ex-player as well. I'm trying not to read too much into it, but
we have to. It's a podcast.
All right, fine. I'll read into it. That's great news. No, but like, if that is a sign of where we're going, it's a sensible one. It's far too late, obviously, but it's better now than never. And it does feel mad that we've just got like 2 people who work part-time to run this football club. Like, that's the mad thing. You see more people in Sunday League involved in organising what's going on than we've got at Cardiff half the time. And it's just, we need more people there. And like, and people who know what they're doing as well, not just bringing in bodies for the sake of it. Like, we tried on Ariza with very little experience being our first team manager. It didn't work. We want people who know what they're doing at this level to kind of help us build, help with that recruitment process. And yeah, if he does come in, he does know the club. A bit of a cliche, but he does know the club, and he's gone elsewhere, and he's got a bit of experience. So if he does come in to do that role, that would be fantastic. But I don't really care who it is, as long as they're experienced and know what they're doing. I can add to the football inside of our club, because that's the one thing we're massively lacking, is that structure at the top.
Yeah, I would try. Like, I just don't. I don't understand how this club operates. On a day-to-day basis. Like, everything feels so siloed and so detached from each other. There doesn't seem any alignment across how this business runs, from the commercial team to the marketing team to even to the fucking shop and how the shop operates.
They
Like,
fight
none of it.
against each other.
Yeah,
It's not even
they all
like
seem to
it's
be,
not working. They actively work against each other to make it as difficult as possible.
and that can't be conducive, and that ladders up to everything that happens on the football pitch. And I think when you've got people who are part time, I think people talk about the part time thing. You can be part time and have an impact, right? There are successful businessmen who run 2 or 3 businesses at once, but you've got people like Ken Chu who spend most of his time running the car side of his business and isn't involved. Like, you see Ken Chu when he's taking photos with new signings. You see Mehmet Dalman when there's an update on the court case, or last year when Errol Bullitt was around. You don't see, we've barely seen him this season. I think he was there for the Sol Bamba tribute, and that's the only time we've really seen him at a game this season, which, he should be there for that sort of thing. But as the kind of chairman, CEOs of this football club, they should be here every fucking week. They should be traveling with the team home and away, but they don't. And it just creates, I think Glenn's alluded to it, Daft's alluded to it, there's a vacuum at the top of this football club. And obviously it doesn't even help that Vincent Tan is, 10 hours ahead? Whatever the time, what's the time difference in Malaysia?
Yeah, 4 hours difference from me. Yeah, so somewhere in
So he's
between
like,
me and you. Yeah.
so like he's 7 or 8 hours ahead at the best of times. And how can he then make decisions that are relayed back to the football club and have that kind of consultative approach? Because effectively he needs people on the ground who can make these decisions for him. But he evidently doesn't really trust Dalman because of what's happened with Bullet and what's happened in the past, what's happened with Warnock, whatever it may be. And Chu, I don't think Chu has the acumen to make those decisions. It's just, I just don't. I've in all my time as a Cardiff City fan, we've always been ramshackled in some way. We've always had these owners who are in some way dodgy or a little bit funky or not very well liked. Sam Haman, there was something inherently dodgy about that man from the start, but he kind of lent into us being nutters and we went with it, and it kind of created a galvanizing moment for this football club, and we all went with it and we rode that wave to where we got to in the Championship. Ridsdale came in and, I think Ridsdale did a lot of good for this football club in terms of taking it off a man, saving it and saving us from administration. But then that ended in acrimony because he lied about a tax bill. Like, the money that we put to our season tickets one season was for transfers, ended up paying our tax bill. And that ruined his kind of relationship with us. And then we moved on to Tan. But we've got this ownership now that don't instill that kind of galvanizing spirit. If anything, they're splitting the football club.
Yeah.
I've always been like, Cardiff City is a bit of a basket case football club, but it's fun because of it. It's no longer fun, is it? Like, we're a basket case because we're really badly running, and it's now impacting everything we do on the pitch. And I don't understand if this isn't the wake-up call for Vincent Tan in particular, because it all comes back to Vincent Tan. He's the owner of this football club. He's the man putting the money in, and he's the man who's handed over the decision-making in such a way that it's being run by Chu and Dalman, but only he can then make the final decision, and they're at loggerheads. If this isn't the wake-up moment for him, he talked in that interview about, like, it's a bit embarrassing how much money he's put into this football club. Do something about it. Like, you're the man who's in charge. If you're going to sit there and say it's embarrassing because it's a lot of my family's wealth into this football club, don't be embarrassed about it. Make a decision. Stand up for yourself. You're a fucking businessman. You're like, we talk about successful businessmen. Like, he's made billions in his career. And if this is causing him embarrassment, then why isn't he looking in the mirror and going, this is on me? He's not going to listen to this. And this is why it comes down to the protest, doesn't it? Like, you sit there and say about the protest, we want Tan out. The guy's not listening. He's not watching our games. He says he does. He's not watching our games. Was he watching yesterday's 0-0 with West Brom, Ben? Was he?
No.
And if he was, he's even more of a fucking idiot than I'm giving him credit for. So
there's not a chance he's been up to date with anything, really. I reckon a few years ago when it was going well, he knew every player's first name, knew stuff about them. I reckon he doesn't know half the squad at this stage. I think he's so disinterested with what's going on. He just sort of wants to get stuff sorted and get it out. But the other problem is he can't be seen as a failure. Like, he's very well known and well respected in Malaysia. So he can't be seen as a failure for this. And there's no way you can look at this without saying he's being a failure. And that's what's going to hurt him, but he's not going about fixing it in the right way, which is just wild to me. It's a man that's not been told no, and he's doing this wrong enough, and he's refusing to listen. And it's so scary because we're well past the days where football clubs could be run terribly. Like every football club was run terribly. We're not like that anymore. Football, if you're not running it well, you see what happens to clubs that happen to that. They go bust, or they end up in purgatory in League One and Two. We're about to enter. It's just a disaster. It's just fucking mad. We were in the Cardiff Cup final, like 2 years after Tan got involved with the club. Like we've been to the Premier League twice.
One of them 6 years ago.
Yeah, one of them was a fluke, but we made it. And yeah, I mean, like you think about like the big decisions. How many has he got right? Like the big calls.
Appointing Warnock.
That's it.
Maybe you could say Malky Mackay as well, but obviously then
he wasn't involved. I don't think he was involved in the Malky stuff, though, was he? It was more TG was involved on that side of things. Tan wasn't as in that year. It was sort of he started putting his money in midway through that season and became the major shareholder sort of around the time we made the Carling Cup final. You look at sort of every major decision. You employed the bloke that has got the most promotions in Football League history and got promoted. Other than that, it's been stinker after stinker after stinker.
But even that wasn't really Tan's choice, was it, Warnock? It was Dalman.
Yeah.
I think as well. I think this is the issue, right? There's been moments where things have gone right for us, where we've had lucky breaks or we've done the odd thing right, and that is the chance for us to solidify. And that's where the mistakes have been really badly made. Because there'll be a lot of people who say, oh, you know, we've been well run. We've got 2 things in the Premier League. It's like, no, we've done that despite the decisions being made. Yeah. And that was our chance to really kick on. And we just never did. And that's the disappointing thing. Yes, we had some decisions go against us and things like that. But we had some real opportunities to kick on as a football club. When we've not only missed them, we've now gone backwards. And that's the really, real sad thing about this.
But even if you look at like the first promotion, like it's a big thing to ignore, but you ignore the us turning red. We still managed to sabotage ourselves there. Like outside of sort of dividing the fan base and sort of all of that went with it. On the pit, like off the pitch, like we were in a position to do really well. You look at Palace; they went up the same time as us, which is crazy to think about, and they went up for the playoffs. We managed to out a manager as a racist. Employ
allegedly.
No, there's no allegedly. We all saw the text.
But one of them, it was allegedly more moody. That's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to defend. I'm just give the full, which is just as bad because they were both employed by the football club.
Yeah. We managed to at the same year employ a lad to come and paint the stadium, who then took Ian Moody's job when Moody got sacked. We signed a striker that the owner didn't actually think he signed off on massive wages, and then sold him back to the club we signed him for 2 million. Like, you think about it, it's been a shambles non-stop. We deserve everything we've got. If anything, it's amazing this hasn't happened sooner.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Tom, what happens over the summer? I'll come to you on this one as well, Ben. But Tom, what happens over the summer now? Obviously, Ramsey's talked about putting the right structures in place. We don't have a manager because it sounds like Ramsey wants to continue playing. So we need to think about a new manager. If Stephen McPhail was there yesterday, does he come in as director of football? What do you think is going to happen now? Do you think any change will happen?
I don't know. This is obviously the big question, right? Because we're in a fairly good position in terms of the way we've gone down. We've gone down with a lot of youngsters who are capable of getting us back up. And we're going down in a way that we probably won't lose a lot of talent. But like, you keep hearing it from like the likes of Ramsey. There's players in our squad who are too good to be in a relegation battle in the Championship. So if we do keep hold of them and we bring someone in who can help our kind of squad click, we're in a good opportunity to kind of come back up. And we'll come back up with a decent atmosphere. We will, as you know, I know as a fan, I'm bored of playing the likes of Preston and things like that. Because yes, we've had a couple of trips up to the Premier League, but we've played the same clubs for like 20 years now. There's something quite exciting about going down, like, and playing these new things. if we do it in the right way, if we keep hold of the talent we've got, we add to it and we add some footballing structures around it, there's an opportunity here to wipe the slates clean, build some good rapport with the fan base, and come back up with it galvanised. And I genuinely believe that. Like, I was sad yesterday. I'm still pretty sad about going down, get me wrong, but there is ways that we can redeem ourselves. There's ways that Tan can redeem himself, like, in a way. There's irreparable stuff but that he can't. But there's ways that we can come back up fairly quickly, maybe not in season 1, but maybe season 2, with the fans in a decent spot. But we'll see. It all relies on this summer and some really big decisions around not even the football inside of it on the pitch. It's the stuff that surrounds it.
What about wiping the slate clean as well?
Does Tom even know what you said?
He doesn't know, does he? If that was me, I'd get pelters for it from you two. So I was there going, yes.
I
He was mid-float. You said wiping the plate clean.
Oh, there we go.
Wiping the plate clean.
Oh, did I? Yeah. There we go.
A good spoon.
Get that a t-shirt.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, wiping the plate clean. Ben, Tom right, Tom wrong, Tom in Australia.
Spot on. Yeah, he's in the future and he sees the future.
Spot on.
He is right. There is part to be excited about. You look at the teams there. I mean, ignoring Reading because I'm not going to Reading away again.
I can't wait. Last time I went to Reading away, I tried to get in someone's car. Go on, Ben.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, they were giving me gyps, so I tried to jump in their back seat. Go on, Ben.
You tried to kidnap yourself. Mad.
Yeah, I know. It was a laugh. It was hot. It was sunny.
You look at everything about it, like it could be like you are right, sort of football inside and everything with it. It is a chance to reset. We've got players there. Like if the club does this right, it could be a great thing long term. But it's trusting the club to get it right. Like Ryan said a lot that it could be the best thing that happens to the club. And suddenly we go down and we start looking at like Joel Colwell, Eli King, all those players like that. The young players start coming through. They're given a real good go in League One and they make a success of it. It could be amazing. It really could. And you go up with that sort of foundation, you sort of bringing it through, and like the club starts bringing those youth players through. That's an amazing thing. It builds a solid bedrock that then the club can then sell players for 5-6 million every year or so, and sort of get that revenue stream coming in. The club starts being successful, but also you run the risk of Wrexham go up this year. Stephen Fletcher gets released because he knows he can't play Championship football. We offer him a 2-year deal on 40 grand a week. That's more likely to happen the way the club is going. We're going to not do it right, and it's going to be the same old shit. It's going to be turgid. And that's where I see us going more than actually giving things put in the right place. But I didn't actually realise Steve McPhail was there. Seeing the pictures of that does give me, again, it's the false hope, isn't it? It is the hope that will kill you. But the idea of, he's done a brilliant job with Shamrock Rovers, like established playing regular European football in a league that's grown really, really strongly out in Ireland. If he did come in, it would be the dream, I think.
Yeah, and he just, it goes to some way, but he gets the club, doesn't he? And he gets what it was like when we had more expectation than we had hope. Because he was at the club in a period when we were expected to be in the playoffs every year, expecting to be challenging for promotion. And I think he can bring in some of that mentality. We'll talk about this more.
As well, doesn't he? I tell you what.
Yeah, he's aging well.
Silver Fox, I think.
Yeah, he's aging well. Nice little pepper streaks in his hair. I enjoy it. Let's go over to Twitter, twitter.com/VFT Ninian. Oliver Rees, currently at the Players' Award. None of the players are drinking. That was at 8:30. Somehow that's the most disappointing thing I've seen today. He did send an update not long after that basically said Callum O'Dowda had 2 glasses and a bottle of wine. And I think Callum O'Dowda deserves it at them all, really. Joshua Watson says pint before the game. We'll be doing that. Josh Watson, see you in Norwich. I asked for people's personal wins. So fed up of celebrating the kind of bad of Cardiff City this season. So I wanted to celebrate our listeners' personal wins. Thomas Taylor gets a comment in every week. Great lad. I've started a new job soon. I've applied for over 400 since I finished my Masters last August. Super pleased the applying phase is over and can't wait to get started. That's huge news, isn't it, Ben, for Tom?
That's class. I love that.
Yeah.
And fair play to you, 400 jobs just shows how tough it is at the moment. So good on you.
Yeah, congratulations, Tom. Brandon Arthur says, who are we next playing a league game first, Merthyr or Swansea? Tom.
Oh, God, that's depressing, isn't it? Kind of half of me, I kind of wanted it to be Merthyr. But like for success from them, not from us completely going bust and having to start at the bottom of the pyramid.
Well, you can have the footy scrans fodder that is half a cob filled with chips and a sausage and gravy. Yeah,
I must see that picture every day.
Yeah, I did have it when I went to watch Merthyr play once, and it is a lot of stodge. As much as it's nice for the first few bites, get about halfway through and you think, bit much this. I'm going to have to go for a big shit. And the toilets at Merthyr weren't nice either. Gareth, congratulations, Merthyr. I don't mean to disparage you. It's quite an achievement this year to get promoted, and I'm excited to see you in the National League North next year, where you'll be playing Spennymoor Town. Gareth Davis, big fan of the San Francisco Giants, who weren't expected to do much, but have started the season really well. Baseball, I'm sure you're aware. Take the positives, forget the insults. Tom, you're a baseball man. How are the Marlins getting on?
I don't know. I'm a Tampa Bay Rays fan. But
Reese is a Marlins fan. Yeah, how are the Rays getting
he's
on?
Tampa Bay Rays as well.
I've seen the Marlins play. That's where I got it from.
Yeah, they won today, the Rays. I've got into baseball a lot in the last 2 weeks, where I did the classic thing of watching a documentary on Netflix, and now I've become obsessed. Not that I'm looking for something else to do other than watching Cardiff, obviously.
Jim, the Welsh Wombat, says, my 14-year-old son has been in Australia for 2 weeks and got back first thing this morning, so home feels like home again. Definitely took the edge off what was an otherwise heartbreaking day. Seriously, though, what can we as fans do about the state of the club? I will address that question. There's another tweet that is related to this, so I'll come to that then. Scholar Poe says, relegation is a blessing for the fan base. Getting rid of the deadwood in the squad and having a reset will do us the world of good, but that bored. Gareth Davis says, after watching, started binge DIYing, finally got rid of these safety catches off the kitchen cupboard doors for the first time in 5 years and 2 kids. Freedom. I made a new chest of drawers last week and I got very, very sweaty while doing it, which says a lot about my fitness state, really. Reece CFC says I've managed to get back to normal running after a horrible year with injuries and 3 surgeries. Had spinal fusion surgery, hernia surgery, and double hip reshaping surgery, one after the other. All that while managing to support Cardiff home and away. Ben, that's quite a run of surgery, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd argue perhaps don't start running.
Yeah.
Clearly, it's not good for you. That sounds horrific. I hope you're doing all right, because that is, rough. But whenever I hear, does anyone else, like, if you hear spinal fusion surgery, instantly think of Stone Cold Steve Austin?
No.
That's all I think about is that.
Someone got very antsy with you on YouTube about your love of wrestling, and now you want to open that door again.
I'm waiting for the bite. I want to see if he goes. I mean, yeah.
I don't think he would have got 33 minutes into the new episode if he hated the last one so much when we mentioned wrestling. So maybe you've lost us a listener. Timmy Burns says, beyond everything else, the 12:30 kickoffs were ruining my matchday experience and genuinely reconsidered my season ticket. Looks like we may only get 4 12:30s in Division 3. Division 2. I see no point in a Canton car park protest. The people involved have too much ego and often ties to older ownerships. However, I think a refusal to buy season tickets will be the only protest to attract the board's attention. Not hard to get a seat. Tom, we kind of talked about this last week, and I understand people have their rituals. People like to go and sit in the same place. But do you think more organically, not even organized, people are going to be moving away from buying season tickets this summer because of what's happened?
Yeah, I think so. And like on that point as well about like there being too many egos involved in the protest side of it, we're already seeing tweets from certain people saying, where were you all and all this? And like I can already sense the infighting coming, and I think that's what worries me. But like, yeah, in terms of the season ticket side of it, I don't blame anyone who gives up their season ticket. And I think a good way of doing it is probably like giving up on the home games and just enjoy yourself on the away ones. Because, the club don't get much money from that, and you can still enjoy that community aspect with your mates and traveling away. I know that a lot of people can't travel away, but the ones who can, I think just enjoy that aspect of it, because I think it's going to be pretty bleak in the CCS, because I can't imagine the attendances are going to be too high for the next couple of years.
That stadium's going to rattle even more than it has already. Alex Bennett, not a celebration. Now that we're down, what 3 non-loan players would you like to guarantee and keep? And why? Sean Fraser also asked a similar question. Who would you keep? Who would you get rid of? We talked about the getting rid of. Ben, 3 non-loan players that you'd guarantee to keep off the top of your head. I know we went through the squad recently, but
3 definite keep. O'Dowda. I don't care. I'd still love him. Joe Rawls, keep him. And outside of that, I am struggling.
Well,
Salek.
Mr. Obvious.
Salek,
There
sorry.
you go.
Yeah,
Mr.
Salek.
Obvious one. Tom.
Yeah, Salek. I've been really impressed by Will Fish over the last 2 or 3
Wish
months.
Puskod.
Yeah, Puskod himself. I think he could be a real good player for us at that level. And I just got a sneaky feeling that Horvath would be a good asset to have in League One. I don't know why. I'm basing on absolutely fuck all.
I can't
there we go.
disagree more. I think he's fucking horrific.
I thought that was
I hate him. I just want him gone. He's terrible. Just so bad.
I would go with, just to be different, Rinamotta. That's it. I can't think of anybody else, really. Maybe I think Jesper Darland could be world class in League One because I don't think he's a bad defender. I just think he's had a really rough season, like a lot of players have. And maybe give Aaron Ramsey a year. Aaron Ramsey in League One, if he could stay fit, would be ridiculous. Interesting. None of you said our player of the season from last year's awards, Callum Robinson. That's why you shouldn't let people vote for things, really, isn't it?
It's the Kent Brockman thing, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. Democracy doesn't work.
I get why people have voted for him, but I can't remember the last time he played this in the last few weeks. It feels like he's been a very good season since Swansea.
Are the results out for the player of the season?
Oh, they are. Player of the season, Callum Robinson. Goal of the season, Ollie Tanner versus Bristol City. That was a man living off past glories. Player of the season, Andy Rinamotta. Women's player of the season, nice. Shannon Evans. PFA Community Champions, Matt Turner for flag waving, and Eliza Colley. Women's Young Player of the Season, Fiona Barry. Our Young Player of the Season, Kian Ashford. Women's Player of the Season, Shannon Evans. And Academy Player of the season, was Ronan Kabakio. That's it. That's the awards.
I can't even think what his goal at Bristol was.
He kind of cut in from the left and hit it with his right across the goal into the top corner. It was a good goal. That was literally the start of the end of Omar Reza. And that was the day I tweeted, this is why Omar Reza will never be a good manager at this level because he shit himself and we won 1-0 up. And I'm not to say I was proven right, but I was proven right. Simon Keane says, thanks for all the podding, boys. You've been the highlight of the Cardiff City week far too often this season. Says a lot, really, doesn't it? About the state of things. This shambles is the highlight of the... Rodri. God, Rodri. I really hope you're okay, mate. Nothing positive as 2025 has been a mess of a year. Any personal wins from you guys? All right, Ben, personal win. What have you had this season?
I've lost a fair bit of weight. I'm happy with that. Foot fitness is pretty good, so I'll take that as a win.
Done, mate. Tom?
Yeah, I've had a pretty good year, to be fair. Got married. I've lost 22 kilos. And I'm running a half marathon next weekend. So I'm feeling pretty good, to be fair. That sounded braggy. I don't like it. Can I take it back?
Nice.
No, okay. Sorry. Maybe call it easy. Go on, Ben.
Really. Stop drinking. About 6 weeks off the booze. Not lost any weight. Not lost any weight yet. That's it, really. Trying to. Hopefully no one listens from work. Trying to quit my job. CCFC Joe, maybe I'm just being blindly positive to cope with relegation, but if there's ever a good time to drop to League One, it's now. The Championship has lost its incentive, with promoted teams going straight back down in the last few years. We'll rebuild and come back stronger. Anya Green says, the Stuart at Bramall Lane last weekend asked how old I was before searching me in case I was under 18. I'm almost 31, so I'll take that as a personal win. Drop the skincare regime. Ewan Barber says League and Cup double for Fleur de Lis FC, and I saved a pen as we won the Cup final 4-1. And Newbridge Town lost to somebody else to hand us the league. I saved a penalty at 1-1 too. Bittersweet. Get you in goals, Ewan Barber. John Tucker says Dalman and Chew should have been 5 years before we entered this cycle of Championship relegation battles. Steve Borley is part of the problem as well. Ella Espinola says I'm running the Manchester Marathon tomorrow if anyone's interested. Geraint Jones says Caerphilly AFC made history this week. The town of Caerphilly hasn't had a club in the Welsh League for 86 years. They were both Caerphilly Town and Caerphilly United were both Welsh League members up to 1939, but did not reappear after the war. Owen Davis says I've gained a new local derby and will still get my annual mention on the pod. Port Vale away, ole ole. Ben, did you ever find out what Port Vale was?
No, that tweet did very well considering it was a stupid one. I was surprised that got all right numbers. I'm still not sure where it is because we got the reply and what did he say? It was this is
Stoke,
top. Yes, it's near Stoke. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Burslem in Stoke-on-Trent.
Yeah, but that just looks like someone's misspelt Burnley. I'm still no closer to knowing where it is. So
it's Burslem, mate. It's Burslem.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Figured it out now? Yeah?
Yeah, fine. Near
You're
Stoke.
going to have to go. You're going to have to go to that game now and do some sort of
Geography with... Yeah, I would... You know what? That's going to be social content for you, Ben. Yeah, vlography with Ben Price.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to get there and you're going to have to, like, have an oat cake because they're big in Stoke. That's all I know about Stoke. They hate Aaron Ramsey as well. CCFC TM. This is the question we've all wanted. We did talk about this off air. Dream Virtue Trophy Group. Now, for those who, I don't know why anyone would know this, but we've been out of the LDV Vans Trophy and the old money for several years now, but we're going back into it this year. There is now a group stage that is regionally split in the Virtue Trophy. Virtue, whatever it is. Within that group stage, you can have the youth team of Premier League football clubs. This is how tin pot this trophy is. But we're in it next year. Tom, what's your dream group? Who are you with? What are you doing?
Trying to think. So, which Premier
Moore.
League club? Yeah, which Premier League clubs under 21s do you want? Probably Chelsea, maybe, because we'd be Southern, right?
We're Southern.
And then I suppose.
But aren't all the 21s away as well? So you don't actually go to Old Trafford and play them there.
Oh, so they play at Cardiff. Oh, that'd be bleak.
14 people attended. Anyway, carry on.
And I don't know, you want something like fairly local, right? You'd want like a Cheltenham or something like that. The teams that we normally play the pre-season friendly feels like a slight upgrade.
You're Swindon.
Your classic M4 corridors, right? You want to move from pre-season into the Virtue Trophy instead. So I think, any of that kind of ilk along there would do nicely, really.
Ben?
I'll go, if we're going one under 21s, I'll go West Ham.
Nice.
Just like saying West Ham. Outside of that, I think I'd go Newport County.
I forgot about them.
Yeah, I'll go Cheltenham as well. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to have to try and be different somehow. Where the group's gone? I'm going to go with Bromley. Because we haven't played Bromley for a long... Well, I don't think we have ever played him in the league. Then for the under-21 team, you want someone big. So I'm going to go Arsenal under-21s. And then for a kind of mid-range southern-based team, scrolling up and down here, I'm going to go with somebody like... Well, Walsall fall into the southern group. If they don't get promoted, Walsall. If they do get promoted, then I'm going to go with Wickham. Oh, AFC Wimbledon. I've settled upon.
Look at the choices. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
New trophy. We could win something.
I wonder what the trophy
that's silly. We're not going to win it.
Yeah.
The trophy looks like a knock. It looks like the Europa League trophy from Timu, isn't it?
Yeah, it's shite. That's funny. Matthew Kerr, I'm going to City Norwich. On the positives, I'm going to holiday to Greece the day after, and I'm still alive. Bring on League One. I'll be there, whatever the league. Noah Ninian, wow, actually gone. Appreciate you'd already gone through who you'd keep and rid, but who would you actually be sad to see go? Only actually Salak or Dowda for me, really. Also, was our performance not slightly pathetic? If Rinomatra and Rolls go, I'll be very sad to see those go. Ben?
Completely agree. O'Dowda, Rolls, and Reno, yeah. I think it'd be really sad. Especially Rollsy. If he goes, I'll be gutted. Especially on this. The bloke's given so much to this club, and he loves this club. Like, you speak to him, there's a lot of players say they care, but fuck, Rollsy cares a lot. He's a good bloke.
Tom?
I think like just the young Welsh lot, if Isaac Davis, Ashford, and I would be sad to see Colwell go because nothing ever happened where it should have, and I'm convinced it will if he goes somewhere else and is managed properly. So I think just like that young Welsh contingent, it'd be sad to see any of those go.
Gaz Williams, what kind of allocations do you expect we get for the likes of Burton and Stevenage? Well, here's a fun one. I went to watch Stevenage play Wrexham this year because I was like, be good to go tick off Stevenage because we're never going to fucking play them. Lol. I'll be there for the away game next season. They had a whole stand behind the goal, and I think it was around 1,200. So for that, and for Burton, probably about 1,000. But I can't wait to go to Burton. Burton. I used to go to school with someone called Burton. Going to go to Burton Albion. It's the Brad Fozzie derby. Can't wait for that one. MJCCFC, the championship is celebrated as a league where anyone beats anyone. Yet in our pathetic 9 wins, the biggest win was against a useless Norwich side. Relegation confirmed with another draw in front of the ownership responsible for this mess. And Reza, but he's their fault. Did everyone like Reza's little Instagram post yesterday? Good luck to all the managers for the final day of the season.
I liked his other Instagram where he was like, when he was going through like the thank you to the fans, and then like named the good moments from the season, and like he got to a point where it was like Swansea, the result against Plymouth, Portsmouth, and more. And I was like, what's the more? I don't know there's no more to this. You've just named some of the games where we played okay. But yeah, his Instagram's wild.
AE says, can we have a pod solely with the 3 of you chanting sack the board and we want Tan out? Cheers, fellas. Let's do it next week. Callum Bowen says, absolute disaster. Ellis Roderick says, living in Manchester, I'm looking forward to League One Northwest away days. That's something, right? That is 100% something. Lee Sanders, who I saw at Preston and I saw at Sheffield, he lives in the north as well. And he said he's looked at the league and it's a very north-facing League One. We'll talk about League One more after this. Matthew Hawkins did a half marathon recently. Reckon I ran more than Al-Ghazi has this season. Who's beating us at home on the opening day? I'm going with Port Vale. I'm going to go Peterborough. Ben?
Barnsley.
Tom?
No, I was going to say Barnsley as well.
All of you, stop thinking about Max Waters.
Waters on my mind.
Yeah. Tom, come on.
I'm just getting the table up. I feel like I've avoided looking at League One since.
Don't look at the table. Just name a team who you think are in League One.
Stockport.
They are, but they're third, so they could go up.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The Common Bluebird says, my 14-year-old and his school team have made it to the final of the Cardiff and Vale Schools FA Cup for the Year 9s. We'll both be there for whatever next season brings, and his usual encouragement of the Cardiff players to snap his fucking legs. Good luck in the cup final. Hope he doesn't snap anyone's legs in the cup final, but I'm really glad you're bringing that spirit through your son, because I think we need more of people saying snap his fucking legs.
There's nothing funny than kids swearing either. Like,
no, it is not funny.
People can look down and be go, "Oh, it's not appropriate." It's funny. It is just funny.
James C. Roberts says, having a baby next month, and I went for an Indian tonight in 1988. Both epic wins. Congratulations to you and your partner, James. Sven Carr says, away day you're most looking forward to next season. Oh, I'm excited about Burton if they stay up. Ben? Well, it's Port Vale for you.
That and Leyton Orient.
Oh yeah, Leyton Orient. I could walk to Leyton Orient. Tom?
I could as well. It'd just take me a while. Exeter. That'll be a fun one. I reckon Cardiff would take a load down there.
Yeah, that'll be good. That will be good. Neath Blue says, my wife is a Jack, so no personal wins for me. And Reese Davis says, our dog Nala's had to go on an emergency endoscopy today to remove a bone stuck in her throat, stuck in her esophagus, which is successful. She's still at risk of critical change to help, so any donations in sharing the GoFundMe link would mean the world. We'll retweet it after the podcast tomorrow so you can see it. I hope you can raise the money, and I hope you get the operation for your dog. Right, let's look ahead to League One. All your tweets, twitter.com/the Ninian. League One. What a league it is. There are 24 teams in League One. So if we're looking at the league next year...
I thought you were just about to read the Wikipedia page then.
I could do that. That would be a laugh. So 2 teams have been promoted, Birmingham and Wrexham. Nearly blew our arse off. Those 2 teams are definitely in the Championship next year. The teams going down to League Two, Shrewsbury, Cambridge and Bristol Rovers, Crawley, Burton. It looks more like Crawley, Burton have 2 games to play and a goal difference swing of about 12 and are 3 points ahead. Burton win on Tuesday, they will stay up, and Crawley will be confirmed relegation. That leaves, some confirmed names, including Mansfield, Northampton, Peterborough, Wigan, Stevenage, Rotherham, Exeter, Barnsley, Lincoln, Huddersfield, Blackpool, Bolton, Reading, Leyton Orient, Charlton, Wycombe, Stockport, all fighting out in the playoffs. Then there are some big names in there, but it doesn't sound like the best league, does it?
No, it's not one that... It's the most League Two sounding League One I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's a weird one.
Do you reckon? Because like I thought that, and I looked at it, and you've got the likes of like Bolton, Reading, Huddersfield, Blackpool, like all teams who played a lot in the Championship, and suddenly I'm a bit more nervous than I was about 10 minutes ago.
But the bottom half's very sort of newly promoted League Two squad, like teams like to me, Stevenage, Northampton, Mansfield, and Burton are very much League Two sides. Like they're sort of one of those newer sort of teams in the EFL sort of thing. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think it is very interesting, and it's very. There's not a lot of Midlands going on there, is there either? Which is
it's very north and south, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm. I'm going to nail this geography stuff, boys. These geography.
Yeah, well done, mate. I was trying to think of a geographical question to ask you about any of these teams, but my brain isn't really working. Tom, when you look at that league, you said you're a bit more nervous about it. What fills you with dread about League One?
Just if we do get it wrong, it could be catastrophic. I think you see, like the reason, like I mentioned those names, is they're clubs that probably did the same as us, where they dropped from Championship and expected to go back up. And there's a lot of them floating around.
Accepted that.
Yeah, like Huddersfield, like Rotherham, like those sorts of teams, like Barnsley, who played a lot, Wigan, Peterborough, who were like, I felt like we were always playing Peterborough, and they were always beating us. And I don't know, Charlton are a pretty like big club as well, and we could lose a lot of those games, but it is quite exciting because we should be competitive in this league, and we should be in the upper echelons of it. And I did think there was more new teams for us there, but it's not quite as many as I thought. But I think it could be good fun to be a Cardiff fan for a little bit next season, unless it goes horrendously wrong.
Even the teams coming up from League Two, Doncaster confirmed promoted as of yesterday. Port Vale confirmed promoted as of yesterday. Then the final spot is between Bradford and Walsall, by the looks of things. We haven't played Bradford seemingly in a long time. Doncaster, I was thinking off the top of my head, it's probably going back to the to the 2010s, that kind of era where we were playing them relatively regularly. The Kumas game where he scored 2 goals against them. So there's familiar faces coming back up. We talked about keeping the squad together and all that kind of stuff, Ben. What kind of manager do we need going into League One? Is it someone who knows the league, or is it, do we need to do what Birmingham do and take a really good coach from an assistant manager's role or something like that?
I don't think coach for assistant manager role works for us. I think the way the club's set up, it needs a strong character at the front. Like we said before about the director of football stuff, but whether that's happening or not, we need a strong manager in place. It doesn't necessarily have to be someone that sort of is fluent in managed 6,000 games in League One, but like someone like a veteran head to sort of build this and sort of get things going is really important. I don't think this year is the year to sort of take a gamble on a younger manager. It's just not right. It's not the right time for us. We're not in that place where we can take that gamble. We need a steady head that can get us results to sort of build us, because we're in the habit of losing. I think Glenn tweeted something horrific earlier. How many in the last 4 years? So in 183 games, how many wins do you reckon we've got?
Oh, I know this, so don't ask me because I saw the same tweet.
I've read it as well. I've forgotten because I think I wanted to wipe the stat from my brain.
Like 53,
I read it,
56, something like that.
56 wins in 183 games.
It's bad, isn't it?
And that's including the mid-table finish in that. That's where the majority of them come. This is a club that sort of, we're not used to winning anymore. Since COVID, probably it's been a struggle to pick up wins, especially at home. We need someone to come in, get us back to basics and start picking up points again. And once that happens, anything can happen, but it's not the time to gamble and sort of look at sort of a younger head that can come in and sort of maybe be poached by another side and make some money compensation-wise that way. It needs to be even someone like Tony Mowbray. I know it didn't work out from West Brom, but it's someone really steady that knows how to run a club that's sort of in a mess.
I don't even know who manages who in League One. And that's because we're not very good at knowing anything about other football clubs other than our own. I think Alex Ravel's at Stevenage. Go on, Tom.
Oh, don't bring him back. I think the likes of Des Buckingham and stuff like that will be floating around.
Yeah.
He's already doing quite well at Charlton, but Nathan Jones coming in, I didn't want him anywhere near.
Is now the time.
I tell you what, it'd be fascinating to watch as we completely set ourselves on fire, as well as the table tennis table. and plummet into League Two, because he is mad. But I that could be catastrophic. But yeah, I don't think it's the time for like the Gunter experiment or anything like that at the moment. Doesn't it? As much as it was good for the 2-game vibe, I think Ben's bang on right. We need an old head to make sure that we don't to make sure we're competitive and we don't completely plummet into League Two as well, because that could easily happen as well. We need to like steady things a little bit as well. We don't need to be aiming for 100, 110 points and going straight back up. We need to make sure that we don't completely crash and burn at the same time.
I have been thinking more and more about Nathan Jones, and the job he's done at Charlton this season and the run he's got them on is fantastic. And I just think, like, if we're talking about galvanizing the football club and bringing someone in, I agree, Tom, it could be an absolute flamethrower of a decision, which is pouring kerosene on an already burning bonfire. But it would be fucking fun to watch, wouldn't it? And I think you'd have a manager who really gets the club, who really was really passionate about the football club and would do something to bring the fans together. It'd be, to some level, Ben, it feels like it could be a Warnock moment, couldn't it?
I don't know. I'm not convinced.
Not just approach it, just like bringing the club back together.
Yeah, I'm still not convinced by that. I think the bloke's he goes one or two ways. He either unites the club or he fucking causes it to implode. Because he's quite like now at Charlton. It wasn't at the start. He wasn't very popular at all. It's just because he's got him playing well. That's
what you need from a manager, though, isn't it?
He'll get sacked, though, won't he? Like, he's not going to listen to people telling him what to do from higher. He's going to go absolutely wild. It would be funny.
I think it'd be fun to watch from afar, but given how it's gone the last few years, I don't think he's the right man we need right now. I still think he's destined to manage his club at some point. And I think when he comes in, I think if it's done at the right time, it could be really successful. And it could be the good old-fashioned Cardiff City upsetting every other team in the league while just pissing ourselves laughing. And I'm all for that. I can't wait for it to happen, but I don't think now is the right time to bring him in. He seems like he's one loss away from a head loss as well, which is always a worry.
Well, not a worry for me, mate. All over that. I want to see him kick some bottles down the touchline and try and fight someone. I'm looking at the managerial names in League One just to kind of see the names you're dealing with. There's some big names down there. Richie Wellington's doing a great job at Leyton Orient, Nigel Clough, Kevin Nolan managing Northampton, Michael Appleton at Shrewsbury, Dave Challoner at Stockport. If it's not Nathan Jones, Tom, would you take Dave Challoner? He seems to have a magic touch for getting teams promoted.
I don't know much about him. I'm not even going to pretend.
You used to have a long throw.
Well, if we can utilise that, then that's worked well for us in the past. So yeah, it seems like a sensible move.
I think he's basically a bit of a promotion specialist out of like League Two and the conference. So I think he's interesting. Ben, if
I really like, is Darren Moore.
I love Darren Moore.
It just seems like such a good, and he's done really well at Port Vale getting him promoted. Just seems like such a good bloke. I'd love for him to be our manager. He just.
I was going to ask you who would be your, if you were to you had to have any choice about who would be your manager on the first day of next season, would it be Darren Moore?
It'd be Darren Moore or Tony Mowbray for me. Yeah.
Tom?
I can't really see. Yeah, that Des Buckingham really. I think that outside of that, there's not, because I think like the names like we've been linked with in the past wouldn't want to drop to League One, like the likes of Schumacher and stuff. So I think it probably would be the names mentioned.
Right. I mean, we can labour the point. We've been doing this for over an hour. I just wanted to give a shout out to everyone who reacted to the interview we did with Mark over the last week. I don't think we've ever had such a positive reaction to something we've done on the podcast. And I think Mark's message is really important. What he's talked about from, campaigning for men's health and kind of provision for men's health within football stadiums, all the way through to the way he just views his life. I think his interview put a lot of what we've been going through as football fans into perspective, because it talked about community, the football club, and what it means to him and how they've rallied around him. And I think that's a really important message. We're all sad about the football club, but life does go on. But for someone like Mark, who's facing the kind of end of his life, to talk so passionately about the football club and what he's done to kind of be a positive advocate for the football club and the way he lives his life, I think it's something we can all take a message from. So if you haven't listened to it, it's on our YouTube, Blue Since 82. You can listen to it on our last podcast episode as well. Looking ahead, boys, it's Norwich next week. Do you even care, Ben?
I'm not going. I play football for Rogerstone, so yeah.
Tom?
I've been in a hotel room in Sydney getting ready for the half marathon that I got embarrassed about mentioning, but just mentioned again. But to be fair, I reckon it'd be a great laugh to everyone that's gone because it's done and dusted. There's nothing on it. I know it's a bit of a different circumstance, but that Man United away game where we were already being relegated was just fun. And I think it's the perfect time for a bit of gallows humour. I think it's just to make sure you're enjoying with the people around you. The best thing about going to watch football is watching it with the people that you go with, the community spirit and stuff. So there's going to be a lot of toxicity in this club over the next couple of years. I reckon just anyone who's going to Norwich away, just make sure you enjoy it. And because, it's the last one of the season, you won't get to do it for a couple of months. So just make sure you have a good laugh.
I will. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for that.
No worries.
It's going to be 18 degrees and sunny in Norwich next Saturday. So I'll be really, I might not even take a coat. God, imagine that. No coat for Ben next Saturday. But I think you touched on something really important there. And I think, if whatever happens this summer, if the fans can somehow pull together in some form of community spirit, whenever you go to away games, you realise that the people who are, keeping this football club alive aren't the chairman, they're the custodians in some way. They're the guys at the top of it. But I go back to Preston away. There was an elderly lady who listens to the podcast with her nephew, and they go to every away game from Ponte on the bus. And they're the people who are going to keep this club going. And they're the people who are going to still go to away games next year. It's not about, we bitch and moan about Tan and Dalman and all that kind of stuff. And they are kind of souring the experience, but it's the fans who go to every away game, week in, week out. And they're the ones who are going to keep this club alive. And I don't think that'll change in League One. Like you say, it's new grounds to go to. It's new experiences to have. There's so many places in League One that I've not been to in years or haven't been to ever. And I can't wait for that, frankly. It's shit that we've been relegated. It's shit that it's happened, but it's been coming for years. And now that it has happened, you kind of just have to look ahead and hope that it's going to be, we can kind of grow from this. And I think there's a lot of fun to be had in a new league. And I think that's something we should look forward to. And I don't know where else to leave it other than there. So thank you to everyone who's listened. We've done 34 episodes of this season. There'll still be a couple more to come when we look back on our predictions that I wanted to do this week. And you can see how wildly wrong we got everything this season. I mean, I could give you a quick flavour as to where we all put Cardiff City. I don't know if you've looked at these recently, Ben Price, but where do you think you put Cardiff, if you remember?
I have us as 6th.
You had us at 6th. Tom?
5th.
You had us at 5th. I had us in 7th. So, I was probably the most realistic of all the fans on this podcast. So we'll go through that. We'll talk about a season review. We'll do a little look ahead to the summer. I'm going to try and fight Aaron Hocking at some point. He says that Plymouth have never finished bottom of the league and they're not going to start doing that now. So we'll see what happens next week. Twitter.com/VFDNinian for all your tweets. KOFI.com/VFDNinian. We do this for the love, not money. Go to our link tree on our bio on Twitter. Find out all the information from there. If you have been watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you've been listening on audio, please give us a 5-star review. Leave any comments. It helps us with our engagement. Ben, what are you doing for the rest of your Sunday?
Garden stuff. Got a nice couple of weeks coming up. So, yeah, painting the walls, all of that.
Tom, go to bed? No, it's today, isn't it? I forget you're ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be going to bed.
Wait, it's the morning.
Past,
I completely lost track of...
We'll get there. We'll get there eventually. Don't worry.
So the last few weeks, for the listeners at home, we've been doing this early Tom's time, but late our time. And then for some reason, I've managed to mix it all up completely there and say that we were doing it late our time, but early for Tom. I don't know what I'm going. It's very tired. I'm very sad. Join us next week where we'll look back at Norwich and we'll be back. See you then. Ta-ra.